From a psycho spoiled brat who tries to burn down my house to an entitled rich kid who wants to kill me, these are some of the most insane spoiled kid stories of all time. So the subscriber who submitted the story was having a birthday, and he believed, or at least his parents believed, and therefore he was forced to believe, that when he had a birthday party, he should invite everybody in the class because if there was a few kids in his class he didn't invite, they might have felt left out because he had a class of like 20, 25 people. It wasn't a class of hundreds. So yeah, if only two kids weren't invited to his birthday party, they definitely would have known, and they definitely probably would have felt a little bad. So anyways, everyone in the subscribers class, including the spoiled kid, was invited. There was a kid in the class who we're just going to call the spoiled kid. This kid was annoying, spoiled, just thought he deserved everything, and he proved himself to be even worse than you could ever imagine. So let's just skip ahead to the day of the birthday party. It's a fun birthday party. They're having it at one of the mall, the kind of like the mall birthday parties where it's like you got laser tag and pizza and like it's at like one of those places, one of those fun events like that. Yeah, the subscriber was having one of those, and immediately as the spoiled kid got there, just because the whole place wasn't, I don't know, covered in gold plated, dude, I don't even know. He was upset. He was grumpy, probably just because he wanted all the attention on himself, as always. But guess what? The subscriber and the rest of his friends in the class, they weren't paying the spoiled kid any attention because, you know what? One way or another, they were going to have a good time, and the spoiled kid was not going to ruin that for them. That is one thing that they made extra clear. Anyways, right. So sure enough, the spoiled kid does find a way to ruin everything because it is finally time to cut the cake. And so sure enough, a cake comes out with a bunch of candles on it. I think the subscriber's turning like 13 or something, so there was 13 candles. Everyone starts singing. And once they're almost done with singing, I don't know if you guys have had I don't know if this isn't true for birthdays outside of the United States, but, they come out with a candle, you sing happy birthday, and then the birthday boy or girl blows out the candle. But no, the spoiled kid walks up and attempts to blow out the candles. He goes up, he's like, and the person, I think it was the mom of the subscriber who is holding the cake, very quickly sees what's happening and pulls the cake out of the way before the spoiled kid is able to blow out the candles. Obviously, everyone is a little bit confused because, we all know that it's always the birthday kid who blows out the candles, bro. It's not some random kid who shows up, especially one that no one likes. And the spoiled kid's like, "Why'd you take it away from me? I was almost about to blow the candles out." And the subscriber's mom's like, "These aren't your candles to blow out. That's why I took it away." And the spoiled kid's like, "What? No, you don't understand. I really want to blow out those candles. So please let me do it." And everyone is kind of just looking at the spoiled kid with this look of, what, bro? I don't know if you've ever been to a birthday party before, but no, you're not allowed to blow out some other kid's birthday candle. What? Yeah, so sure enough, the mom's like, "No, on your birthday, you can do whatever you want, but this is my son's birthday." Honestly, the subscriber's mom was being super chill about the whole thing. If I was the parent, maybe I wouldn't be as chill. I don't know. But sure enough, the subscriber's mom being super chill about the whole thing, and the spoiled kid's like, but I want to blow out the candles. And, just saying that you want to do something in real life doesn't mean that everyone's going to be like, "Oh my God, I didn't know that you wanted to do it. I will totally let you do it now." No, in real life, they're going to be like, "Tough stuff, bro. I don't know what to say." So sure enough, the subscriber blew out his candles. Everyone applauded for him. But you know who didn't applaud for him? The spoiled kid. Because the spoiled kid was angry. He was malding. He was grumpy. He was not a happy camper, to say the least. And so sure enough, the spoiled kid is coming together to figure out how he is going to get his revenge. And get some form of revenge, he does. So anyways, the spoiled kid finds the pack of matches that they used to light the candles right before. Because if you don't light the candles right before you take out the cake, half the candles are going to blow out. The others, it's kind of a risk if you just leave them sitting there. So they had a match of candles, or a match of matches, a book of matches on the table. And so the spoiled kid grabs one of the blown out candles from the birthday cake, because it was cut and everyone ate cake or whatever, but they didn't give the candles to the kids just in case they'd accidentally eat them. They put them aside on the table. So when no one was looking, the spoiled kid went to the table, grabbed one of the candles, and found the matches and lit it on fire, right? So now he has a lit candle. And he walks around and he's about to go over to where all the paper plates and like all the paper plates and the napkins and all the flammable stuff is. And he's about to light the whole thing on fire when, thank God, there was a parent in the area who saw what was going down, snatched the candle out of the spoiled kid's hand, and was like, "What were you about to do?" And the spoiled kid's like, nothing. But obviously, right, the parent was able to put the context clues together and realized that the spoiled kid was not about to do, quote unquote, nothing. He was about to do something, and he was about to do something big. So they bring him to the subscriber's mom and says, "I found this little boy in like with a lit candle about to light the place on fire." And obviously the subscriber's mom calls the spoiled kid's parents. They show up and they're like, I don't know, their super fancy car or whatever, and they take him away quickly. But if you thought that spoiled brat was bad, then you are not prepared for what is about to come. Because this all started at a summer camp. So the subscriber was going to a sleepaway camp for the first time. This was super exciting. But basically, right, when they got to the camp, or when the subscriber got to the camp cabin, there was an option of top bunk or bottom bunk. So basically, each kid who got there was already assigned to a bed, but it was really first come, first serve for if you want a top bunk or if you want a bottom bunk. And the subscriber really wanted top bunk because, I mean, he's never been in a bunk bed before. I mean, I'm sure he's seen some at his friends' houses or whatever, but he's never been in a bunk bed, and top bunk is always more fun. I'd always choose bottom bunk because I was afraid of rolling out of the top bunk, but very clearly, top bunk is more fun. So sure enough, he gets there and he chooses top bunk, and he's already kind of like unpacked all of his stuff. And about, 2 hours later, the spoiled kid arrived. So they didn't know immediately that this kid was the spoiled kid, but this kid was the spoiled kid. He had never been told no in his life. So when he gets there, he's like, oh, I want the top bunk. And, the camp counselor has to explain to him that since he didn't get there first, he's not able to get the top bunk, right? And the spoiled kid's like, no, you don't understand. I asked nicely, so I shall receive. And the camp counselor looks at him with this kind of blank expression of, I get it that you asked nicely, but this is the real world, bro. I'm not your parents. I'm not saying, Jeremy, all you got to do is ask nicely and I'll give you $1 billion. Oh, thank you for asking nicely. No, dude, this is the real world, man. Other people exist. So sure enough, right, the spoiled kid is not very happy. So he goes up to the subscriber, and here's the thing. If the spoiled kid went up to the subscriber and said, "Hey, I've always wanted top bunk. I know you got here first, but can we like trade off, or maybe you could offer it to me?" Saying it like that, I would have no issues with it. You want something, so you go about asking for it in a way that, in a nice way. But no, the spoiled kid, the first interaction he has with the subscriber, his bunkmate, he goes up to him and says, "I demand that you give me the top bunk right now, or there will be consequences." Little did the subscriber know that consequences meant this kid was literally about to make an attempt on his freaking life, but we're skipping ahead. So the subscriber's like, "What?" And the spoiled kid's, "I will say it one more time, and then I will not be repeating myself. You have one chance to give me the top bunk, or else there will be consequences." The subscriber simply looks at the spoiled kid and is kind of just like, "Bro, what are you saying right now, man? What are you saying right now, bro? What's coming out of your mouth? Because it's just not making a lot of sense, man. I'm keeping a stack with you. It's just not making a lot of sense." So, I mean, very clearly the subscriber says, "No, I got here first." That's tough. Look, the subscriber wasn't going to be a pushover here. He wanted top bunk. He got here first. Unlucky, if he didn't get there first and the spoiled kid got the top bunk, you really think the spoiled kid would have been sharing the top bunk with him? Or no. He didn't even ask to share. You think if he demanded the spoiled kid gave him the top bunk, that would have worked out even in the slightest? No. Absolutely not. At this point, he's just looking out for himself. And fair enough. I totally understand it. The spoiled kid, however, does not take getting a no nicely. He does not take it well. And he's about to do something literally criminal. So it's the first night. They do a bunch of fun camp activities, even though the spoiled kid is secretly super angry. But they do a lot of fun camp activities. And it's about time for them to go to bed. So they brush their teeth, they take a shower, they do whatever you need to do. And sure enough, it is finally time for them to go to bed. And the subscriber goes on the top bunk, and the spoiled kid reluctantly goes on the bottom bunk. And the subscriber starts to drift off to sleep. Right? And that's when he is awoken because he can't breathe, right? He has a feeling of like he's not able to breathe. So he wakes up really stressed. I mean, I don't know if that's ever happened to you before. This happened to me once when I was like super sick and like my nose got all jammed up. It was the scariest experience ever. I was up for like hours afterwards. And that was just because my nose was clogged. Like I could still, I guess, breathe through my mouth. But the subscriber wakes up and he just can't breathe. And he wakes up and he opens his eyes. And you know who he sees above him? The spoiled kid. The spoiled kid is literally holding a pillow to his mouth and nose. Thankfully, the spoiled kid is a little weakling, and he immediately, like, as soon as the subscriber kind of, like, tries to lift up, the spoiled kid flies off of him, and he's like, subscriber takes a massive breath in, and is like, what is wrong with you? And, like, immediately other campers wake up, and the spoiled kid then he's like, I wasn't doing anything. And, another camper who was sitting next to them, was like, no, I saw the very tail end of it when, like, there was all this commotion. I, opened, the guy in the bunk next to them was like, no, I saw what happened. Because at this point, the camp counselor came in and a bunch of other guys were, like, woken up. But the guy next to both of them was like, no, I was, like, awake. Like, I woke up because, like, the spoiled kid was making a lot of noise. And I look up and he's above and he's on the subscriber with a pillow to his face. I don't know what he was trying to do. So very obviously, like, he was thrown out of camp immediately because, that would literally kill someone, bro. Like, I don't know if you know, but you kind of need oxygen to survive at least a little bit. Like, are you serious right now? So yeah, believe it or not, the spoiled kid wanted the top bunk so bad he was willing to try and suffocate someone below. Like, I just can't even believe it right now. But at the end of the day, spoiled kids be wilding, bro. That's all. The main message for you guys to take away is spoiled kids be wilding. But if you thought that this spoiled kid was a psychopath, then you are not ready for this entitled brat. You are simply not ready. So the subscriber and a bunch of his school friends are at the mall. And one of the school friends is this spoiled kid. However, this spoiled kid no one's really that close with, except one of the subscriber's friends. Like, his mom is super close with the spoiled kid's mom. So the subscriber's friend is, like, forced to bring the spoiled kid along and everything that he does because his mom is like, you know how close I am with spoiled kid's mom. Spoiled kid is not struggling getting friends, so you gotta be nice to him. Kind of doing standard mom stuff like that. So for that reason, the spoiled kid would always tag along a lot with what, like, the kids were doing or whatever, and the subscriber was he was okay with it. He wouldn't have necessarily invited the spoiled kid because, I don't know, he's the spoiled kid, bro, and he's not trying to mess with that. But at the end of the day, it was 1 out of, like, 10 kids that they were rolling with, so if you have one bad apple, like, whatever, it really doesn't matter. So sure enough, right, they make it to the mall one day, and they're playing laser tag. And I don't know if you guys ever played laser tag in the mall, but it is one of my, like, peak childhood memories. I mean, I would go in there with all the boys. We'd be playing laser tag. Like, it would be, like, we would be reenacting, like, freaking Star Wars. And it was so fire. I would honestly, if given the opportunity, and I probably will, I will go in there again and play laser tag with the boys once again. I don't care if I'm 20, dude. I'm going to keep doing it. But anyways, this is laser tag gone terribly, terribly wrong. Just because the spoiled kid or the entitled kid, who believed that he was entitled to everything, believed that he was also entitled to winning at all costs, as you will see. So they get in there, and the subscriber, he's just, they're all there. They play their first round of laser tag or whatever. And at first, the subscriber, and they do teams. The first round is teams. So at first, the subscriber and the spoiled kid, they're on the same team. So the subscriber and the spoiled kid, they're just, they're doing their thing, and they're actually pretty good teammates. The spoiled kid is really, really competitive, but he's at least pretty good at laser tag. So the subscriber and the spoiled kid actually kind of like team up a little bit, even though they're on the same team. They kind of do like a tag team. So he's like, all right, you flank them, I'll go straight on. Like, I'll be the distraction. You go ahead and snipe them. Yeah, so actually, the subscriber and the spoiled kid, things were going extremely well at first. Because when they were on the same team, both of them being super competitive, they were able to absolutely crush the second team. However, the second round was a free-for-all, basically meaning no one could team up and you could shoot anyone, right? So this is when the subscriber versus the spoiled kid started to get a little bit spicy. Just a little bit spicy, right? Because sure enough, right, the subscriber, he's a little bit better than the spoiled kid. So sure enough, he hits the spoiled kid with the laser, and the spoiled kid is now officially out. However, the spoiled kid's like, that's not fair. I wasn't paying attention. You got me when my back was turned. And like, bro, I don't know if you know the rules of laser tag, but you don't need to announce to everyone, oh yeah, by the way, I'm about to get you with my laser, so you better turn around and pay attention. No, the whole point is like, you can get them when they're not paying attention. If anything, like a stealth attack is probably going to be better than like whatever else you were planning to do. So yeah, I don't totally know what the spoiled kid was going on about. He was probably just so mad that he lost. However, the spoiled kid was about to take things into a much worse direction. He was about to go way crazy with power. So basically, the spoiled kid is out, which means if you've never played laser tag before, once you're shot with one of the lasers on your vest, it basically turns off your laser gun itself, so now you can't go around shooting other people. However, that doesn't mean that the spoiled kid is done, right? He is not done with this. He is about to enact his revenge. So basically, the subscriber is going around, he's sniping down people, he's being in good positions, right? And that's when he sees the spoiled kid walking towards him. And he's like, I know I got this kid out. Like, he's not going to shoot. Like, he can't zap me with his laser gun because I've already gotten out. Like, or not, I've already gotten out, but I've already gotten him out. It's not like he can do anything. I'm not too worried. However, the spoiled kid keeps approaching the subscriber, and it's really weird. And the subscriber's just like, hello, sir? Like, does he want to help me with tactics? Because we were good to get... No. The spoiled kid lifts up the laser gun, because the laser gun is a hard piece of plastic. It's not like a little dinky thing. The laser gun is a hard, heavy piece of plastic. And he lifts it above his head, and the subscriber is just looking at the spoiled kid, and he watches as the spoiled kid swings. The subscriber really quickly dodges the thing, like the laser gun, but the spoiled kid keeps swinging on the subscriber. And if like he makes contact, he could do some like actual damage. It's not like he's swinging a baseball bat, but it's still pretty heavy and it's gonna hurt. So sure enough, right, at this point, the subscriber versus the spoiled kid, they're having their own match. They're not even playing laser tag anymore. The subscriber is playing dodge, and the spoiled kid is playing beat the living crap out of this kid with my laser gun, right? So at this point, one of the staff or whatever who's working the laser gun sees that this kid is like swinging super hard on the subscriber and is like barely missing him. So sure enough, within like 5 minutes or so, the mall security get there. And it's perfect timing too, because the subscriber, who is able to like dodge all the swings by the spoiled kid, accidentally trips on like one of the ornaments or decorations that they had around in the laser tag to make it more authentic. And he's on the ground. And this is when the spoiled kid walks above the subscriber, lifts the laser tag gun above his head, and is preparing to smack down as hard as possible, which could seriously do some real damage when the spoiled kid is taken back by two of the security guards, and he is dragged out of there. Yeah, so basically the spoiled kid is in the security guard's office until his mom comes and picks him up, and honestly, at this point, the subscriber called his mom to pick all of them up. And let's just say that the spoiled kid was no longer asked to hang out with them. But if you thought that this spoiled kid was evil, you thought he was evil. At least he didn't try and seriously kill this subscriber like this one did. This is, out of all the Spoiled Kid story videos I've told you so far, this one is the most dark and insane. So this all happened because the subscriber started dating the Spoiled Kid's crush. So the Spoiled Kid wasn't liked by many people because of the way that he let his parents' money get to his head. I've said this before, but even if your parents have a lot of money, genuinely, if you're a good person, I don't care, man. As long as you're a good person, you're good in my book. And yeah, but the Spoiled Kid let his parents' money go to his head. So he's super entitled, super bratty, and for that reason, a lot of kids didn't want to hang out with him, and a lot of girls didn't like him. There are some points in your life where if, like, kids flex their parents' money, girls will actually be like, well, at least he's going to be a safe option. Eventually, girls will realize that, oh, well, he's actually going to have terrible character, but, But anyways, at this point, you know, girls were just not interested in the Spoiled Kid. And the Spoiled Kid had a massive crush on this girl who we're just going to call Stacy, right? Because Stacy's mom's got it going on. But anyways, so sure enough, right, you know, the Spoiled Kid has a massive crush on this girl named Stacy. She wants nothing to do with him because he's kind of a massive brat, right? He's just a massive brat at this point. But sure enough, the subscriber has been talking to Stacy for months at this point, and eventually they make it official, and word gets out extremely quickly that they made it official. When the Spoiled Kid hears this, he's absolutely crushed. He's absolutely devastated. But here's the thing, right? I've been in this situation a billion times. No, I've not been in the subscriber situation a billion times. I've been in the Spoiled Kid situation a billion times. It sucks, and you're going to be very sad for a little bit of time. But like everything, time heals, or at least mends most all wounds. So he should have just given it some time. But the Spoiled Kid was angry. The Spoiled Kid was mad. And he was not going to wait. There was not a chance that he was not going to try and get his revenge. So one day, they were having beef stew for lunch. You might be thinking, Connor, you're filling this video with obnoxious, irrelevant details. No. Them having beef stew for lunch is a critical detail that you must know. So they're having beef stew for lunch. And anyways, the Spoiled Kid, before lunch, walks into the janitor's closet and grabs as many of the chemicals as he can. He goes in, and disclaimer, obviously, do not do anything that the Spoiled Kids have been doing. Seriously bad. Don't endorse it. I'm just telling these stories. I just got to throw this in here for the sake of it. But anyways, the Spoiled Kid is in the janitor's closet, and he grabs all the chemicals he can see. And he grabs them over. And anyways, the Spoiled Kid is sitting, or not the Spoiled Kid, the subscriber goes up to the front of the line, and the subscriber grabs, I don't know, some of the beef stew, and he puts in a little cup or whatever. And so sure enough, the Spoiled Kid sees this. And the subscriber goes down, he finds a table, and he puts, you know, he sits down with some friends, and they all put down their trays that have the beef stew or whatever. And they leave it at the table. They leave their food at the table so that they can go up and they can grab dessert or whatever, and they all walk up. So right now, there are 4 beef stews on the table. The Spoiled Kid has intentionally seen which one the subscriber who stole, you know, Stacy, the girl, or, yeah, Stacy, the girl that he's in love with, he knows exactly which one of the beef stews is his. So the Spoiled Kid walks over, and he starts taking out all the janitor's chemicals, right? All the bleach, the cleaning detergents, all that stuff that's super poisonous and super toxic. And he starts pouring it all into the subscriber or the subscriber's beef stew. Because the subscriber might just be like, oh, the beef stew just tastes funny today. And he would take enough bites that at a minimum, he would be extremely sick. So at this point, you know, the Spoiled Kid has poured all these chemicals into the subscriber's beef stew. And since the beef stew was super thick and murky, it really didn't make a color change, and it didn't really smell that different. I think it might have had a little bit of a pungent smell, but sometimes beef stew is a little pungent, a little acidic, right? So sure enough, the Spoiled Kid, he walks away, putting all the chemicals back into his backpack. And the subscriber sits down and is about to take a bite when this random kid walks over and says, stop, 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 stop. And so sure enough, the subscriber looks up at this random kid, and the 3 other kids at the subscriber's table are also really confused. So they look up at this kid, and this kid's like, I don't know if you're going to believe me, but you need to. Like, I just saw the spoiled kid over there, and he points over to the spoiled kid who's sitting alone. For good reason, as you guys will see. The spoiled kid who's sitting alone, he said, I just saw him pour all these chemicals and really weird stuff into your, I don't understand, but I saw him pour all these like chemicals and weird stuff into your beef stew. He says, just take a smell. And sure enough, the subscriber's like, okay. And he like really takes a whiff. He's like, oh God. And he like kind of passes around the beef stew. And okay, if there's like chemicals, please don't take whiffs of it, guys. But sure enough, all the other kids are like, oh my God. So they bring it to the front office and they bring the witness, right? And sure enough, the front office somehow gets it tested. Somehow they realize that there are a bunch of chemicals in there. And so, yeah, one day, or not, actually later that day, the spoiled kid is sitting in class when two security guards burst into the class, take him and drag him out of the classroom, right? How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today we got two spoiled kid stories that are so freaking crazy that I know you'll enjoy them. So sit back, relax, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and let's just jump right into it. Real quick, I have a super cool announcement. You guys have been asking for these videos to be on Spotify for the longest time, and now I can say that we are officially on Spotify. It's the first link in the description, or you can just look up Connor Pugs, my name, on Spotify and start listening there if you prefer to listen there, or just want to listen on the go. Anyways, so we're going to call the subscriber for the first story Charlie. So anyways, right, Charlie is in class, and there's this kid in Charlie's class who we're going to call the spoiled kid. And he was the spoiled kid because he always got anything that he ever wanted. His parents would always say yes to him. His parents would always say that he's like the greatest guy ever and that he's so smart and that, oh my God, like, wow, Charlie, or the spoiled kid is so awesome and everything he does is so great and he's the best guy ever. And the thing is, right, it's good for your parents to be supportive, you know? In fact, I think it's like super important for your parents to be supportive. But there's a difference between being supportive and giving you a massive head and making you think that you can do literally anything when you can't. So the problem was the spoiled kid believed that he was entitled to literally everything. So there was also a girl in this class who we're going to call Kate. That's like one of the most common names I use in this channel. Deal with it. And anyways, right, Kate was kind of like the pretty girl in the class. And I don't know, that sounds a little weird for me to say, but like she was like known as like the one that like all the guys would always like wanted to like be with, right? And the thing was, Charlie, the subscriber, also wanted to be with this girl, and the spoiled kid also wanted to be with this girl, right? There's a bit of a problem because Charlie and the spoiled kid both kind of they weren't fighting over the girl necessarily, but it was low-key a competition, right? So Charlie honestly got in more speaking time with her, and the thing is, like, so every single day, Charlie would make it a thing that he wanted to go find Kate, and when he went and found Kate, like, you know, he would be, like, asking her things, and they would talk, and they would hang out a lot, and honestly, Charlie was putting in the time, and shout out to my boy Charlie. I mean, he got it done, as you'll see, and the spoiled kid wasn't as good at it, but the other thing was, the spoiled kid, when he started to talk to Kate, he wasn't saying like, hey, how are you doing? How is life for you? Tell me about yourself. How are classes for you? The spoiled kid was all about me, me, me. The spoiled kid would always talk about how he's going on this super cool vacation, how he just got the super cool new computer, or has a really cool watch, or how he's super smart and did super well. So while the spoiled kid definitely talked to this girl a lot, and I've had a lot of stories on the channel where the spoiled kid, you know, he just doesn't talk to the girl and just believes that she's madly in love with him. This time, the spoiled kid, yes, he did talk to the girl quite a bit. However, the problem was, whenever he talked to the girl, he only talked about himself and was basically just bragging to her, and she wasn't a big fan of this. And, you know, at the end of the day, she eventually, you know, Charlie and this girl started basically dating. So one day, about a week into Charlie and Kate being in a relationship, right? I mean, it was a middle school relationship, so 10th base was holding hands and scandalous, right? But anyways, right, so the thing is, the spoiled kid didn't know this. The spoiled kid wasn't aware because I guess he just wasn't in the loop socially. He was too busy flexing, right? Flexing 24/7, no time for friends, only bands, but whatever, right? And the spoiled kid didn't know this. So one day, Charlie and Kate were sitting at lunch together. They were basically having like a lunchtime date or something. And the spoiled kid came and sat down and was like, Charlie, can I have a moment with my woman?
And Charlie was like, dude, what? Well, I don't understand what you're saying. He's like, I would like a moment to woo Miss Kate over here. And Kate just looks at Charlie, and Charlie just looks at Kate, and they're both like, uh, and Charlie's like, hey, are you gonna break it to him? Kate's like, no, Kate's like, spoiled kid. I would love to be friends with you, which was a lie, by the way. I would love to be friends with you, but I just want to let you know that Charlie and I are actually together. And Kate reaches over the table and basically grabs Charlie's hand as a signal of them being together. And the spoiled kid was like, what? It kind of like fell back a little bit and was kind of freaked out. He's like, oh my God, like, no. And he's like, no, this is not true. Stop lying. Stop lying to yourselves. You guys know the truth. This isn't you. This isn't you. No. And Kate's like, what do you mean this isn't me? And spoiled kid's like, I know you, Kate. I know you so well. And you know that we were meant to be together. And this is where Kate kind of snaps a little bit. She doesn't like go crazy or anything. But, she kind of just says, well, no, you don't know me. Whenever we talk, it's literally just you talking about yourself or flexing or bragging about something. Like that's not us talking, right? That's you talking to me. You don't know anything about me. Like, you seem like you might be a good guy, but how would I even know? Like, you have not shown it off to me. Like, I'm sorry. I'm fine if you want to continue being friends, but I'm with Charlie now. And Charlie felt super awkward and uncomfortable in the situation because he knew that the spoiled kid had just been told no. And he knows that when the spoiled kid is told no, it's about to rain down, fire and brimstone from the sky. It's about to be bad. But the thing is, Charlie didn't expect it to be as bad as this. He did not expect the spoiled kid to basically go off the deep end as hard as he's about to go off the deep end, is what I'm trying to say, right? So anyways, Alex is like, Charlie. Alex is the name for the next guy. Charlie's kind of, he's continuing to, date this girl, and that's one of Charlie's friends comes up to them. And, Charlie and Kate are sitting at the table. They're having one of their dates, right? And one of Charlie's friends, comes up to them and says, hey, I just want to let you know, the spoiled kid is quote unquote, plotting revenge. I don't totally know what that means, but all I know is that he's plotting revenge. And that's what some of his affiliates have told me. I don't totally know what that means, but I just thought I'd let you know so you got a heads up. And Charlie's like, oh my God. And, he's like, Kate, I'm so sorry you have to deal with this. And Charlie's friends clarifies that no, Charlie, he doesn't care. Kate made her choice. He's plotting revenge against you. And Charlie's like, what? Dude, I was just talking to her. She made a choice. Shouldn't the revenge go against her? And Kate gives him a look like, what? And he's like, I didn't mean it like that. Revenge should go against no one. Ha ha ha. But why is the revenge going against me? And, Charlie's friend's like, dude, I really don't know. I can't say either way. All I know is that, yeah, the revenge is going against you. I don't know what it is, but just be aware. And Charlie was expecting, I don't know, the spoiled kid to come in and try and trip him or something, or I don't know, sabotage one of his school projects. He was not expecting the spoiled kid to break into his house, right? So anyways, this was the weekend. It was a Friday night, and they all lived in the same neighborhood. They all went to a school in their local district, and for some reason, everyone's address was put in the school directory, if you wanted to send them mail or something. This was true for me for a while, but thankfully they got rid of that. I actually went into my own college address thing and removed it because I'm like, oh, come on now. Let's not expose everyone here. It's so unnecessary. Why do you need to know my address, bro? But anyways, so Charlie's just chilling. It's getting late at night. It's about 9 or so, and, his parents are like, hey, Charlie, it's about time for you to wrap it up or whatever. And that's when they hear kind of a noise. They hear a noise and they're just like, what was that? And so they walk downstairs and Charlie is so surprised by what he sees. He sees the spoiled kid standing there. And Charlie's parents turn to him and be like, Charlie, you're supposed to let us know when you're having a friend over. And Charlie turns to them and be like, I don't have a friend over. This is some random kid from my class. What are you doing here? And the spoiled kid's like, oh, I just got lost on my way back home. And Charlie's parents turn to each other and what? That's really, really confusing. So Charlie's parents, look at the spoiled kid and say, hey, what's your mom's phone number? I'll just tell her you're here and, you need help getting, like, picked up. And Spoiled Kid's like, no, I can walk back. I'm very close. And they were like, are you sure? Like, I don't know. Like, Charlie's parents were like, I don't know if I feel comfortable just letting you walk back by yourself. That sounds like really dangerous. Are you sure that's all right? He's like, yes, that's totally fine. So he walks back, and Charlie, like, goes to bed, and he feels really weird. The next day comes around, and, you know, Charlie's friend's like, dude, comes up to him, and Charlie's like, yeah? He's like, bro, like, I need to talk to you. And Charlie's like, is it about the fact that the Spoiled Kid just spawned into my house yesterday? And he's like, yeah, like, that kid went into your house and was trying to find dirt on you. And he's like, what? He's like, yeah, and he's going to do it again. Charlie's like, wait, hold up. So you're saying the Spoiled Kid broke into my house to try and find dirt on me? And he's like, yeah, I think, like, he's looking for, like, a diary or, like, a secret list of evil doings or something. I don't know, man. And Charlie's like, so he broke into my house to look for dirt on me, and he's going to do it again. And, you know, Charlie's like, yeah. Or Charlie's friend's like, yeah, I don't know how to say it. And Ava's like, dude, like, or Kate's like, dude, I'm so sorry. I knew this kid was weird. Maybe I should have left him off more nicely. I don't know. And Charlie's like, Kate, this is not your problem. This is not your fault. Also, this is me. This kid's being ridiculous. I'm going to deal with it. Don't even worry about it. And, you know, it's a pretty nice thing to do, I'm not going to lie. And so sure enough, Charlie goes back home, and he tells his parents exactly what happened. His parents are like, wow, that's crazy. Like, what? Like, are you serious? He's like, I wish I wasn't serious, Mom. But yes, this is the situation we're in right now. I don't know how else to say it. This is what we're dealing with. And so anyways, his parents kind of, like, wait out, and they're basically staking out the Spoiled Kid, waiting for him to show up. And his parents are like, I feel really weird doing this. And, you know, Charlie's like, okay, all we got to do is leave out bait. So they basically left the back door open, and Charlie left a book. And it was like a notebook, and he wrote in Sharpie on the notebook, Charlie's Diary, in big black marker. Like, you would have thought this is the most obvious bait ever. And so anyways, right, they're waiting around, and Charlie's parents were like, we need to go to bed. We have work tomorrow or whatever, right? And sure enough, right, as they're saying that, someone sneaks through the back door. It tiptoes in, and it is the Spoiled Kid. And so at this point, Charlie, like, takes out his phone and starts recording. And the Spoiled Kid looks around, and he looks on the table, and he picks up something, and he reads it. He's like, has this big smile expression on his face. And he turns around, and he's about to tiptoe out the door when Charlie says, wait 1 second. The Spoiled Kid turns around, and it's Charlie and his parents looking at him holding Charlie's diary. Real quick, if you made it this far into the video, comment spoiled down below. I'm going to try and heart a bunch of these comments. And also, if you want to continue supporting the channel, all you got to do is continue watching videos after this one. And let me know in the comment section what you're doing while watching these videos. Are you, like, watching them as they are? Are you putting them to the side and, like, playing a video game, cleaning your house, drawing something, trying to go to bed? Genuinely curious, and I like reading through the comments. And also, remember, if you want to buy any energy drinks, go to GamerSups and use code ConnorPugs for 10% off. It not only gives you 10% off, but also supports me. And if enough of us use the code, we might actually be able to make our own cup, which I think is really cool. Anyways, right, so at this point, Charlie and his parents had the Spoiled Kid caught. And the Spoiled Kid is like, oh, hi guys, I'm sorry, I got lost again. And at this point, Charlie's parents are like, we're not buying it this time. The Spoiled Kid has this crazy look in his face, like, oh my god, I just got caught type look. And so sure enough, right, the Spoiled Kid is like, what do you mean? And Charlie's like, look, dude, that's a fake diary in your hands. We literally made it to bait you because I was told by one of my friends that you were going to come here tonight to look for something to, like, some kind of, like, dirt on me to try and, quote-unquote, expose me or something. The Spoiled Kid's like, fine, so what if I did? You know, you stole my girlfriend from me. And Charlie's like, bro, she was never dating you. And she didn't really have any plans on dating you. And you guys never asked her out. You can't just look at a girl and say, that's my girlfriend now. That's just simply not how it works, you know? And Charlie's parents are like, son, like, let's just call your parents. Like, just get out of here. It's like, it's time for you to go. The Spoiled Kid's like, well, you can't prove anything. I'm just going to say you guys are a bunch of liars. And Charlie's like, yeah, also, I've not stopped recording since you walked in and took my diary and admitted everything. And sure enough, Charlie had his phone wasn't very clearly recording, but Charlie was recording the whole thing kind of secretly. And Spoiled Kid's like, well, Charlie, you're mean for stealing my girlfriend. And Charlie's like, dude, okay, come on now. Let's just go home. So sure enough, right, Charlie was able to find in the directory, because the Spoiled Kid found his address in the directory, but Charlie was able to find the Spoiled Kid's parents' numbers, and they called his mom up, and the Spoiled Kid's mom came over and was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm going to have a talk with my son when we get back home. And the next day comes around, and the Spoiled Kid, Charlie is sitting with with Kate. And, they're talking about how crazy things have been. And, Charlie and Kate continue to have a pretty good relationship. And the Spoiled Kid never bothers them again. So into the second Spoiled Kid story. This one is even crazier, so you definitely want to stick around. Let's call the subscriber who submitted this one Alex. So anyways, Alex was in school. And there's this kid in school who was kind of like, not like the bad kid, but he was always getting in trouble, right? And there was kind of rumors that he was doing some really bad stuff behind the scenes, that like the police were going to get involved. So like pretty serious, pretty bad stuff. But no one really knew for sure. This kid would always come in late, and the teacher would be like, you're late again. Like, I'm going to mark you down for that. And he'd be like, whatever. Sit at the back of the class, be on his phone, blow like bubblegum bubbles and pop them loudly in class. He obviously didn't want to be there. Was probably going to try and drop out as soon as he could. But he was just still in class, right? So anyways, one day, they hear a rumor that like this kid really went too far this day, and that he really messed up. And Alex was kind of like, oh well, why is this going to be true specifically? I always hear that this kid's like messing up. Like, why is today anything different? So the kid comes in, and he's noticeably like kind of messed up. Like, he's noticeably nervous. He's kind of like, he came in on time, no attitude. He's normally like very nonchalant, like, I don't want to be here type business, right? But no, today was different. He came in, and he very quietly and quickly ran to the back of the classroom. He sat down and kind of like put his hoodie down and just looked straight down. So immediately Alex was like, all right, well, maybe something is different today. This kid is acting much stranger today. So maybe something is different. I don't really know, but maybe that's the case, right? And, sure enough, they hear like a couple, like I'd say a little bit of time goes by, and that's when a mom bursts in, and she's like, you, and points at the back of the class to the, maybe Spoiled Kid, maybe, I don't know, we're going to call him the bad kid in this sense. And, he's not a bad kid. He just got mixed up with the wrong crowd or something, but they point at the bad kid or the sus kid or whatever, and the mom's like, you really went too far this time, and you know what? It's catching up to you. All your mistakes, they're catching up to you, and this time, like, you're coming with me, and we're gonna have a talk about this. And the kind of like the bad kid gets up, he's like, no, we're not. And at this point, bro, remember, we're in the middle of freaking English class. The teacher's kind of just like, bro, what's going on? And everyone in class is kind of just like, what? What's going on, man? I'm just trying to learn some grammar. I'm just trying to figure out which is the right your to use, man. Please. So that mom starts going to the bad kid. And it's like, you're coming with me. And the bad kid is like, I don't freaking think so. And he grabs his chair. He legitimately throws his chair at his own mom. It is one of the craziest things ever. His mom thankfully ducks or dodges or somehow. And then the kid starts running, right? The kid starts running. And like at this point, everyone's like, oh my God, the kid just like threw a chair at his mom. That's insane. And sure enough, right, everyone's like, oh my God. And the teacher, kind of like mans up a little bit and steps in his way, kind of blocks him from leaving. And that's just enough time for the cops that were already after him to come in. They literally take this kid and drag him out of the classroom. So at this point, everybody's kind of just like, oh my God, like, what is happening? Like, seriously, what is going on right now? And the teacher's like, class, remain calm and in your seats. Nobody move, right? Nobody move. And there's two police officers dragging this kid out of the classroom. And his mom is huffing and puffing and yelling at him, which You know, I think it's pretty justified. I mean, he just tried to throw a chair at her. You can't do that to your mom. I mean, don't throw a chair at anyone. This isn't WWE. Like, come on now. And sure enough, like, the mom is yelling at him, like, oh my God, like, I can't believe you did that. Yada, like, stuff like that. Like, you're the worst. All that kind of stuff, right? And, you know, he's like, you know, you didn't raise me right. As the police are dragging him out, right? And here's the funniest thing ever. Here's the craziest thing ever. So the class kind of ignores the teacher a little bit, and decides to, okay, well, the teacher said we should stay in our chairs, but we really want to see what's going on here. So they all kind of get up, and the teacher's like, class, no, sit down. You're not getting up. You need to sit down right now. But they don't care. They all kind of get up and they watch. And as this kid is being dragged out, he like pulls out his phone and starts making a freaking TikTok, dude. Like, some of them followed him on TikTok, but later in the day, they saw this TikTok on their For You page. It got a little viral, got like 1,000 likes or something, so it blew up a little bit. And they all are just watching as this kid is being dragged out by legitimate police officers, and he's just doing the renegade dance. Okay, he's maybe not doing the renegade. He's not like renegade. No. Okay, maybe not. But he's making a TikTok as he's being pulled out by these two officers, being dragged out. His mom is yelling at him, and he's like, oh, you know what? This sounds like a great time to make a TikTok, guys. I'm going to make a TikTok right now. You know what? With all the things going on in my life, I think this is the greatest time for me to make a TikTok. Bro, are you serious, dude? Yep, but sure enough, kid continues to make a TikTok and is pulled out into a van and is taken away. And all the kids are like, oh my God, what is going on? And the teacher's like, kids, like, get back to class right now, or you're all getting a bad mark, and I'm sending it to the principal. And all the kids are not listening because they're like, okay, yeah, write up the entire class. You just had a crazy experience happen. We're just going to say we're traumatized or something. Like, we're still... And they watch as the van drives away, and it's the craziest thing ever. Next day comes around, all the kids are sitting at, like, their kind of, like, lunchtime cafeteria type place, and the subscriber, Alex, is talking with his friends, like, dude, do you think that kid's going to get expelled? Is he going to go to juvie? And they were really just trying to figure out what this kid did to get him in so much trouble that the police burst into the classroom to drag him out into a van. Like, it is the most ridiculous thing ever. I mean, this kid was definitely doing some sus stuff if he was in the mindset where he was willing to throw a chair at his mom to escape her. What? His mom came in saying, like, I need to talk to you. And he's like, oh, you need to talk to me? Take this, chair attack, throws the chair, tries to run away. I mean, I guess shout out to the teacher for blocking him out of the exit long enough that the police were able to come in and get him. But all the kids were wondering, like, oh my God, like, what's up with this kid? And then eventually word got out that, you know, the kid was not expelled. He was not thrown into juvie or anything. He only got 2 weeks. He was only suspended for 2 weeks, which... 2-week suspension is pretty crazy at the end of the day. However, I mean, one would have thought with like 2 weeks, this is like with whatever just happened, it would have been like, I don't know, thrown, like sent away to like Guantanamo Bay or something crazy. But no, 2-week suspension. However, from this point on, Alex and his friends didn't really see this kid even after he came back after 2 weeks, because he was put immediately into special classes for kids who like misbehave like that, which, I mean, they probably just assumed, like, okay, this kid threw a chair at his mom. What if, like, he gets, like, a snarky remark from one of his classmates? He's like, I didn't find that joke very funny. Chair attack. Like, we can't risk that, right? That can't be risked. So anyways, yeah, the kid, you know, he didn't really appear again. And even in lunch, he wasn't allowed in the normal lunchroom. He wasn't allowed in the normal classrooms. So while he wasn't expelled from the school, he basically had to go to, like, a ghost version of the school where it's like secretive classes, secretive lunch. So he wasn't officially expelled, but he was, for the sake of his social life, he was practically expelled. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Watch another video if you want to
Click
support
on the video
channel,
on screen
and
right
peace.
now. I know you'll enjoy it. Just click it, do it.